The email arrived at 3:17 a.m. Subject line, policy adjustment notification. Immediate action required. I didn't see it until morning. By then, my monthly health insurance premium had increased by 312%. No warning, no missed payments, no new diagnosis. Just a recalculated risk score. When I called the customer service number, the representative sounded rehearsed. Your biometric behavioral profile has shifted, she said. My what? Your integrated health analytics indicate elevated long-term morbidity risk. I ran a 10K last month. Yes, we see that. Her tone was polite, unmoved. As part of your wellness optimization agreement, your wearable device data contributes to actuarial modeling. That's when I remembered the discount. 2 years earlier, my insurer offered 20% off monthly premiums if I agreed to sync my fitness tracker, steps, heart rate, sleep patterns. It seemed harmless, encouraging healthy habits. Now it was evidence. The insurer was United Healthcare, or at least their behavioral analytics division. The discount program had been marketed as Empower Well, track your health, get rewarded. I had signed the digital consent without reading the 47-page data policy. Like everyone else, can you explain specifically what changed? I asked. The representative paused. Your stress index variance increased 18% over baseline. Stress. Yes. Heart rate variability irregularities combined with decreased REM stability. That's not a diagnosis. It correlates strongly with cardiovascular event probability. Correlates. I repeated. Yes. Correlation had become cost. I work as a public defender. Stress is baseline. Long hours. Courtroom adrenaline. Late night case prep. But I exercise. I don't smoke. I eat reasonably well. Still, over the last 3 months, my watch had started flagging elevated recovery time. I assumed it was burnout. The algorithm saw liability. 2 weeks earlier, I'd gone through a breakup. 6-year relationship. Unexpected. My sleep fractured. Resting heart rate ticked upward by 4 beats per minute. Insignificant to me, significant to predictive modeling. The premium recalculation cited behavioral destabilization phase, as if heartbreak were a pre-existing condition. I scheduled an appointment with my primary care physician. Dr. Ramirez reviewed my vitals. Blood pressure normal, cholesterol stable, EKG clean. You're healthy, she said. I know. Then what's this about? I showed her the premium notice. She frowned. They're pricing future probability based on watch data. She leaned back. This is where medicine ends and actuarial science begins. I requested my full risk assessment file. Legally, they had to provide it. When the PDF arrived, it was 186 pages long, charts, trend lines, behavioral clusters. They had mapped my routines. Work days versus weekends, location-based stress spikes near the courthouse, late-night phone usage patterns, even grocery purchase metadata integrated via a retail loyalty program. Refined sugar increased 9%. I bought ice cream after the breakup. Ice cream had become a predictive marker. Buried in the report was something called the Chronic Escalation Index. It predicted likelihood of hypertension within 3 years, major depressive episode within 18 months, autoimmune activation, risk based solely on behavioral biometrics. I had never been diagnosed with any of those conditions, but the model assigned probabilities adjusted premiums. The algorithm vendor listed in the appendix was affiliated with researchers formerly connected to Harvard Medical School, specializing in predictive cardiology modeling. Another citation referenced behavioral risk analytics studies from Kaiser Permanente, reputable names, academic legitimacy, which made it harder to argue. I disabled data syncing immediately. The app sent a warning notification. Discontinuing biometric transparency may impact eligibility. Tire transparency, as if privacy were concealment. Within 48 hours, my premium increased again. Non-participation penalty. Apparently, opting out suggested non-compliance risk. Risk of what? Illness or unpredictability. At work, I found myself monitoring my pulse obsessively. If my heart rate climbed during cross-examination, was that another red flag? I began forcing slow breathing during stressful moments. Not for health, for cost control. My watch buzzed with reminders. High stress detected. Consider mindfulness. The irony was suffocating. The device that caused financial anxiety was advising relaxation. Daniel, my ex called after hearing about it from mutual friends. Maybe they're not wrong, he said carefully. You've been more on edge lately. That comment lingered. Was I deteriorating? Or was I being told I was deteriorating? There's power in suggestion. If an institution labels you high risk, you begin scanning yourself for symptoms. Hyper-awareness breeds anxiety. Anxiety elevates heart rate. Elevated heart rate confirms the model. It's a closed loop. I consulted a healthcare policy attorney. He sighed before I finished explaining. They're ahead of regulation, he said. As long as they're not denying coverage outright, differential pricing falls into gray territory. So they can charge me more because I had insomnia. They can charge you more because your behavioral profile predicts higher cost. Predicted by who? An algorithm. The word again, neutral, invisible, untouchable. 3 months later, something stranger happened. I received a pre-authorization denial for an MRI I didn't request. The system had flagged future musculoskeletal risk based on my reduced step count during breakup month. Lower activity suggested possible injury or depression-related decline. It auto-generated preventative review protocols. I was being medically pre-managed for conditions I didn't have. Dr. Ramirez shook her head. They're pathologizing normal life. Grief became morbidity. Stress became liability. Ice cream became metabolic instability. Then came the health coaching call. A representative suggested I enroll in their cognitive resilience program. Weekly digital therapy sessions, monitored via speech analysis for emotional volatility. Free enrollment would reduce premiums by 8%. So if I talk to your AI therapist, I pay less. I asked. Yes, and if I decline, your current tire remains, which meant elevated. Participation wasn't mandatory, but financially coerced. I began researching predictive insurance models. Articles cited collaborations with data scientists from Stanford University and machine learning labs analyzing millions of wearable data streams. The models didn't need diagnosis, they needed deviation. Humans deviate constantly. Breakups, deadlines, aging parents. Life had become actuarial volatility. One evening, I left my watch on the kitchen counter just to see. The next day, the app sent an alert. Data gap detected. Please ensure device compliance. Compliance, like probation. When I reattached it, my resting heart rate spiked from irritation alone. Another data point, the psychological toll was subtle but relentless. I stopped eating dessert entirely, forced 8 hours in bed, even if awake, avoided emotionally charged conversations. Because somewhere, that fluctuation might cost money. My body no longer felt like mine. It felt like a monitored asset, optimized, graded, monetized. The breaking point came during a routine jog. Halfway through, I felt lightheaded, not from exertion, from panic. I imagined the algorithm watching, scoring, predicting. My pulse skyrocketed. I collapsed on a park bench, not sick, overwhelmed. The irony was brutal. The system predicting cardiovascular risk had induced cardiac level anxiety. I removed the watch that night, powered it down, placed it in a drawer. My premium remains high, but something shifted internally. For the first time in months, I slept without wondering what my REM cycle would cost. I still receive weekly emails encouraging behavioral optimization. I ignore them because here's what I've realized. Health is not a straight line. It's not a perfectly stable graph. It bends with heartbreak, with stress, with human messiness. And when companies price unpredictability as pathology, they turn ordinary vulnerability into financial punishment. I am not hypertensive. I am not depressed. I am not chronically ill, but according to my data shadow, I am trending toward decline. And in a world where algorithms predict the future, prediction starts shaping it. That's the real danger, not that I might get sick, but that I begin living as if I already am, because somewhere in a server farm, a model decided my heartbeat looked expensive.